Hi, and welcome to Two Guys Philosophise with Sean Blake and Peter Wise. Today's episode we have called Control, because it's mainly about control. But we talk about lots of other interesting stuff as well, such as microdosing on psilocybin, therapy, masks, relationships, little deaths, life's changes, programming your life, evolution, Facebook, false personalities, and diamond engagement rings, plus the general state of the world today. Hope you enjoy. Please remember to subscribe.
You're in a weird mood this morning. What's going on with you? What's happened? Tell me.
I'm dealing with anxiety. The best way I know how is by humour. Hey? No, it's I've had a little bit of a manic morning, I got to tell you. So I'm feeling a little bit adrenalised at this stage. Adrenalised at this stage, yeah.
Right.
And I could have turned it into anger, but no, I'd like rather turn it into positive energy. So
how do you do that?
I've been asking myself that on the bike ride all the way here. The only way I can figure is just be happy. Oh, for goodness sake, just be happy. It's not the end of the world. My whole thing this morning was I had to meet with somebody who wanted to meet immediately. It was like an immediate thing. It had to be done, like straight away. You know, could not wait. It was like urgent. I still haven't met with him. I've been waiting for like an hour and a half now. And it's on my way. So now I got to think to myself, like, what's the value of me? Like, I'm sitting here waiting for you, messing around, like probably in super sparse, and you're doing shopping, something you like, while I'm like sitting here stressing about having to be somewhere, but also having to make money off of you. You know, I'm sitting in this quandary. So eventually I just sent him a voice message. I said, look, you're number one, either going to have to find me, like now, or two, well, like, talk to you later.
Yeah.
Cheers. You know.
It's like, man, I've also had a morning, well, I should say my wonderful wife, Frida, has had a morning. We've been trying to get things insured. It's a nightmare. I mean, we're in South Africa and people do complain a lot in South Africa. But it's a nightmare everywhere. When you phone up any company now, I remember the days where you phoned up
and you spoke to a human.
Somebody answered.
You spoke to a human, yeah.
No, now you've got to wait half an hour and speak to machines, and then when you finally get through to somebody, they don't do what they're supposed to do. So,
they don't know how to. Or it's the wrong department. You got to go through the whole thing again. Long gone are the days where we had like contact with actual people.
Yeah,
to deal with our lives. So.
It's a changing world, man. We have contact with people via our computer screens or our phone screens. It's like, God, it's like unreal the way things are changing.
And we've had this revolution that I'm not quite being my age comfortable with, which is this paying everything over the internet. Buying stuff over the internet. My best friend Felix. Peter knows he's my best friend. For Christmas, bought me an early Christmas present of Windows 10 Pro.
Right.
So I was installing that last night, and as I was installing it, I was looking at all the security features that they actually have built in, like to the whole Windows, like operating two-point authorization and stuff like that. So I assume it's pretty safe to do that, but I don't know why I don't feel comfortable. I still don't. I would like to give my money to a human.
Yeah.
And take my money from a human.
I understand. All these.
It's okay. I've remembered an interesting point that I wasn't going to say. So I've realised I'm in such a good mood and I'm handling the stress so well this morning. I microdosed this morning.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm not at all upset about like this whole episode. It's actually quite funny.
Yeah.
Because in the back of my mind, I'm running this scenario through with this dilly woman on Prozac who's like ambling around the big day centre, lost in a daze of serotonin and dopamine.
Serotonin and dopamine. Oh man, my best friends. Yeah. We don't have enough. We should have more. We should have been made with more serotonin and more dopamine. So so we can be happier.
Well, the
all
thing is,
time.
we just destroy those receptors. Microdose, it's phenomenal. I'm actually now, it's so unperceptual to you when you have it. It's not like you high or anything, but you just deal with things so much more. You don't panic, you don't get into anger mode, it kind of deflates your anger responses and everything.
So this is like a
and I can feel my cognitive function is way better, because I suffer from brain fog for various reasons, old age being one of them. But and psilocybin is supposedly very good for increasing your cognitive function immediately. And honestly, I can. I'm talking better. I'm talking faster. I'm not forgetting things.
You're talking too fast.
I'm talking too fast, probably. Yeah, which might lead people to think that like microdosing psilocybin is like taking speed, and it's actually not. I think this is the pace that my brain actually really works on. I think it just restores, like, yeah. It's not everyone that microdoses that gets into this, like, manic phases and starts talking very fast. No. Yeah, I think that's my default, that.
Well,
like you said, what was it about messages? Like, I'm the only person who leaves like half an hour long text messages.
It is voicemail messages, man. I've got to take off half a day to listen to them. But I don't know. Look, like I said before, I woke up this morning with plans, and somebody said something very funny to me yesterday. He said, there's 8 billion people on this planet. Every single one of them makes plans for the day. Do you think that they're all going to go?
Including you.
Well, do you think that they're all going to go right? All 8 million people who are making these plans? No, they're not.
No.
It's a question of kind of, what usually makes me anxious is being out of control of things, I mean? I've got a plan for the day. I know at 11 o'clock I've got this, and 2 o'clock I've got that, but then by 12 everything's changed, and I do start, I have to consciously keep myself quite, calm.
Well, the only constant thing in life is change, so take solace in that. They give you any kind of, like...
But we do try desperately, all of us, to control what goes on in our lives, you know what I mean? And it's this, some people have a real problem with this control thing,
the need to control,
the need to control, the need to be in control,
or the need to be controlled.
Need to be controlled. How would that work? Just the need to.
Well, I was watching an interesting documentary on X. Well, it's actually very fascinating. It was an interview between a World War II veteran and an Iraqi vet, Iraq vet, and they were like basically like throwing things around.
Yeah.
And now I did get a brain fog. I got a total brain fog. What was I talking about?
I've got no idea, man. we just walked straight in this morning. Didn't make any notes or anything.
But that's great. We're going to do that.
Control.
We're going to do that. No, that's why we're having this.
We're talking about when people can't control things. They have a problem, or they make it into a problem, rather than just being able to
being controlled
it.
and being controlled and whatever. Yeah,
some people like being controlled.
And what came up in that whole interview between the two, and we're talking generations apart, is that both of them wanted to go back into a military type situation after the military, because it gave them control in that their lives were so structured. So when they got out of the war, they were so used to having their lives structured. You do this, you do that, you do this routine, this routine. They found it very hard to adapt back to civilian lives. So they found that these people went for jobs that were kind of military in nature, like government, but regime, kind of. So they need the need to control. They've had that control where they've relinquished their control, which is a lovely thing to do. I mean, to be able to go, take care of my life for me, which I think is what people do when they enter an army or something like that.
Bit of a cop-out.
It's a bit of a cop-out, yeah, but hey, wow, you get paid, a place to live, you don't really have to think too hard, and, So, well,
Well,
that's...
I suppose there are people like that. I mean,
There are lots of people like that, people that go to psychiatrists and psychologists.
I've been to psychiatrists and psychologists.
I know, I have too. I've been to you, but what is that?
I've been to you.
That's me not you taking control. That's me, or I suppose I'm different. We had a different kind of therapy relationship, but really, I think when people see a therapist or a psychiatrist or a healer or whatever, is they want that person to take control of their lives and heal it.
Underneath it all, yes. Ultimately, the first thing that somebody who comes into therapy wants is somebody to listen to them. You know what I mean? So they can talk about things that they can't talk to their mother or partner or child about, or best friend even. So they want somebody totally anonymous who can somehow take the weight off their shoulders, you know, and that happens just by them talking.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's amazing how many.
But isn't that the first part of therapy? I found that with us, the first part of therapy was me unloading.
Yeah.
And like the last half of it was unpacking all of that. Not that, you know, me unpacking all of that.
Yeah.
Not that, you know, you unpacked it. That wasn't your job, that was my job. But unpacking all of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just glad you got something out of it, because I swear to God, half the time I didn't know what was going on.
Oh my God, that was why I went to that. I had this agreement with Peter, and that was this, that I will pay him money to listen to my crap and my madness, and just so that he would not tell anyone else. The crazy that was going on in my head. But the value for me in therapy and seeing Peter was actually verbalizing what was going on in my head, and once it was verbalized, I just either sounded completely ridiculous, it didn't make sense, or it struck a chord. But I needed, because you cannot fix yourself within yourself. I think you need somebody outside yourself sometimes to help you see outside of yourself, and I think that's kind of what happened with us in therapy. But I mean, I've benefited hugely from the fact that I can go somewhere to someone, tell them the madness that's going on in my head, that other people would go, oh my fuck, okay.
Yeah.
And you paid to shut the fuck up. Okay, write it down in your little notebook. Okay, we carry on next week. But just in verbalizing the crap and going like, oh my God, why do I think that? Why? How do I have these thoughts? What kind of crazy is this that I'm, you know?
Is this going
that
to be about,
needed to happen.
Is this going to be about therapy now?
Well, consider we haven't even started. We haven't even started the podcast yet.
Well, maybe we have.
Well, maybe we have. Yeah.
But it is amazing how, you know, we've mentioned it once before, how everybody keeps these masks around them, you know, to stop people seeing the real, let's say, the real me. You know, I only project to the world the part of me that I want to be seen by others, and I'm also a social chameleon. That is, if I'm with a rich, famous businessman, I will, even if it's subconsciously, my body dress smarter, my voice will be different, as if if I'm with somebody totally different. So I don't know. I think a lot of people do that. Were you going to say something really important there? Have you forgotten it now?
That mask that you're talking about is, there was someone, and I wish for the life of me I could remember who it was, that I read that said all that our personalities were us projecting what other people were telling us we were back to them. So in other words, other people out there tell you who you are in terms of the mask. You are a kind person, you're a loving person, you're a healer, you're a da-da-da-da-da. And that's kind of the mask that you adopt because you reflect that back to you. That's what people want from you. So that's your mask. Would you agree with that?
I don't know really. Who knows? One thing I do know is relationships are very hard to do.
Well, relationships, for instance, for the first 3 months, your partner is the perfect partner.
Yeah, because you don't know about them.
Because they're reflecting back to you what you want them to be.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and then suddenly it gets exhausting to keep that mask up and it falls, and you know,
Yeah.
the person. But aren't we like like, is that not just how we like? You know,
Man,
is that not our personalities? I mean, what are our personalities?
that's a big one. That's a big one. You know, I mean, I think that's why relationships are so difficult. You know, you have a lot of codependent relationships. You have a lot of very strange relationships. You know, which some relationships are clearly not working, but the couple won't split up for whatever reason. You know, you have such a different variety of relationships with your friends, with your co-workers, with your partner, with your children, with you know, and you have to change your approach, I suppose, in how you handle different people. You can't handle different people the same way, and I don't know what I mean when I'm saying handle people.
Well, you are handling
mean,
people.
I'm not fondling them.
Yeah. But I mean, we're constantly handling people. We're handling their egos. We're handling their attitudes. We're handling what we know about them, how they're going to react. We're constantly managing the people around us.
Yeah.
And that's also another issue in terms of control. That's quite interesting. I don't know. We manage people around us.
Well, we do. I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's all kind of very, very convoluted. From time to time, I throw in what I think is a big word. It's all very fucking twisted, to be honest. So many relationships are so twisted. It's beyond belief. I don't know. There's very few people who could say, "Look, I've."
Well, they're very dependent. They're codependent.
2 out of 3 marriages these days ending in divorce, and marriage is going out the window as well as an institution. I mean, marriage may be a wonderful institution, but who the hell wants to live in an institution kind of thing? But
well, the biological evidence is that we're supposed to be with many people during.
So
our
who
life.
made the rule that we have to have only one woman?
De Beers, so that they could sell you
Not that I mind, personally.
diamond rings and engagement rings and wedding rings.
De Beers,
and
that
De Beers,
big company.
Did you know that De Beers invented what's that before you get married?
Engagement.
Do you know they invented engagements? And do you know that they invented wedding rings? Before
Really?
De Beers, there was never a wedding ring. They went on this marketing campaign and
Bloody
said,
hell.
if your wife is worth anything to you, okay, it should be at least, I think it was, a third of your yearly salary. So why don't you buy her something special that has value, and a diamond ring? And that is, Google that shit, it's fascinating. And that's how De Beers got to sell diamonds and gold and diamond rings. Engagements came after weddings. Okay, because once they had established weddings and that a man needed to spend a third of his yearly salary on a ring to prove how much he loved his woman, he now also had to prove, before he proved that he loved his woman, that he really wanted to love his woman by buying an engagement ring for her. Okay, so yeah, that's something to delve into. That's freaking interesting.
You know, I've been with my I call Frida my wife. It's my life partner.
And I've been together a relationship. It's brilliant.
We have a wonderful relationship. I'm very grateful for it and grateful for her. We chose not to get married because I'll tell you something. Once you sign that marriage certificate, things start to go wrong. And I am actually dead against marriage. If people love each other, they'll stay together. Not because they won't stay together because they've signed a piece of paper. Then that will just put them under a lot of pressure. If their relationship after 5 years is waning or going downhill, now they've got a marriage certificate. Then they've got to go through a whole divorce procedure and all that. I think that's all bullshit, man. That's all bullshit. Then the churches are making money out of
the
us.
Government's
The lawyers are making money.
The lawyers are making money. The church
so who
the pews.
That's interesting, actually. I wonder where. Is that something that came from the Bible originally? A man shall take for himself a wife.
No, there were many wives.
Well,
back in the Bible days, Moses had how many? He had 8.
Yeah, they called them concubines,
Concubines,
I
yeah.
think. I don't know if...
There was one main...
Solomon had hundreds of them.
He had hundreds, yeah.
And obviously, that's, different religions, you allowed to take different wives, a number of different wives.
Just on a purely psychological level, we all grow, and we all grow in different ways. It's impossible to expect two people to grow in the same direction over the period of a lifetime and be happy with each other, because at some stage you're stopping each other from doing what you both need to do.
Well, that's why it is, every relationship is a compromise. It's crap to say, you say, oh, if you really love your partner, you'll overlook their bad things or whatever, and
those things that will start irritating.
And then they say, yeah, no, but if you really, really love your partner, you won't see any bad things, which means that's a nice little saying, but it's not really apparent. You will learn to accept those parts of your partner that get on your nerves. And you will have to admit, Frida will tell you quite a few things I do that get on her nerves.
Frida has no problem telling people what gets on her nerves. That's what's brilliant about Frida.
I think in a relationship, you have to be open about these things, talk about these things, and compromise surrounding them. A relationship is about as much about giving and not about controlling.
Yeah. But look, do we not evolve, and can we not get over this whole animosity after a relationship breaks down and not understand it's a purely natural dynamic that happens in a relationship? You get your oxytocin, you get your 3 months of being the perfect person. You start realizing that those cute little things that your partner does, chewing his nails and whatever, become really, really irritating. You have children, you bring up the children, and generally people at that stage start dying, as far as I'm concerned. Should we not be moving on? Should we not be saying to each other as partners, okay, we've reached a different place in our relationship now, we've done what the relationship requires, let's move on to a different part. For instance, Felix and I, my ex-boyfriend, we were together for 10 years. We went completely different ways in terms of who we were and what we were looking for in life, but we did it amicably, and now we're like brothers. There's no animosity. We like brothers.
Obviously that there's plenty of cases where relationships break up and people are and the couple are okay with it. They go their separate ways. They remain.
No, but we're encouraged to make it an aggressive thing. There's lawyers and divorce courts, and there's battles and settlements. And again, pumping the system with money. You know what I'm saying? It's the judicial system, it's the politicians, it's the lawyers.
Yeah. It's true, and I think that's why we, all of that crap is what makes us angry. Look, when you sort of break up from a relationship, it's like it can be a war. It can be a real war, but it can be a kind of a war inside yourself as well.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a war that can never be won, because one party might always feel that he or she came off worse, and they might hold on to that resentment for the rest of their lives. How fucking stupid can you be? Holding on to a resentment or being angry with somebody else, your anger hurts only yourself.
Oh yes.
It's like holding a burning hot coal in the hope that it will hurt someone else.
Subject of relationships. Just out of interest's sake, because we kind of jumped into the whole podcast today, and I know you as a personality type, you had everything planned out. What did you plan on speaking about today?
Well, I was thinking about speaking about control.
So we've actually got there, yeah.
I don't know, have we been speaking about control?
We have, yeah. Control, people needing to be controlled, feeling comfort in control.
Yeah.
Being controlled.
Yeah. Do animals think along those lines, or for animals is it much more primitive? Just
I don't think that the saying being like sheep is for nothing.
Be like sheep.
Yeah. I think that there's probably in the animal kingdom there's one leader that does the thinking for everyone. Think about it, wolves in a pack, they've got their leader of the pack. Sheep, they've
Yeah.
I don't know what sheep have got actually, apart from just like grazing.
Look, man, I'm just thinking back on my life.
But there always seems to be one alpha.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not me, and it's definitely not Sean.
It's definitely not.
Thinking back on my life, it's been so chaotic. I've had no control over anything. I've been married, divorced. I've had so many different jobs I've done. I've travelled, and a lot of it's been manic. I don't know, some of you may know, but I'm a recovering drug addict. I don't do drugs anymore, but I've had. It's just been crazy. It just feels like somebody else's life. Could that have been my life?
But wasn't it somebody else's life? Because I think that we go through what some people may term a midlife crisis, but I think it's that turning point where your life literally does change. And as we spoke on our last podcast about the death of certain things in our lives, that's kind of part of it.
So there's little deaths.
Little deaths all along the way, little grievings that we have
with relationships, of course, as well. That's
as well.
actually, a breakup of a relationship is a death, and sometimes it's hard to get over it. I suppose you've got to go through a grieving process or a mourning process.
But also, like getting older and your life changing, not being able to do the same things, being more able to do other things. It's a huge change. It's a huge death in what you used to be, and letting go of that is for most people incredibly uncomfortable.
But I mean, how do you find the world these days, where we are in South Africa?
I really don't concern myself with the rest of the world. I know it sounds terrible, but the rest of the world is if I had to listen to and take in all the propaganda and the mind games and the politicians and the whatever, I think I'd literally go crazy. So I've discovered in my life, and thank you for the therapy, because it is also due to therapy, that I have very little control over what's going on outside there. I shouldn't really have to want to control what's going on outside there. It's none of my freaking business.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, I'm happy. Today I have food. Today I have money. Okay. Today no one's threatened me. No one's held a gun to my head personally. I don't know what Facebook is saying. I have no idea what the blot, the different, and I don't care, because they're extreme versions of reality. The true reality lays in the middle there.
Well, I think,
and who's to decide where the freaking middle is? So I'm just not interested. My life, how is my life? My life is fucking amazing, and it's because I'm not like involving other people's shit in it. That's why.
There you have it. Sean's got an amazing life, man.
So I do.
I'm jealous of you, but
I
think getting as you say, sort of past midlife. It's strange to think, that our fathers and our grandfathers, the lives that they used. I mean, it's only 100 years ago or so, 120 years ago, that the electric light bulb was invented.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me, this universe has supposedly been in existence for 14 billion years, and we only managed to invent the light bulb 100 years ago. And since then, I mean, technology has gone mad, and I think that's what makes me feel old. You can download so many apps to do anything you want on your phone these days, and you can just sort of spend your life buried in your phone and in your computer. It's not a life I'm used to living. I either have to adapt to it or avoid it. I don't know what the fuck to do.
I feel I don't belong anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a fish out of water. This technology that we're dealing with now.
And you're quite good with this technology, sir.
Well, only because I've had to practice, and I'm not really that good. I mean, geez, I'm like shooting a video. That's
so you
like
feel
nothing.
like a fish out of water.
I feel like a fish out of water. I cannot relate to young people anymore. I cannot relate to millennials and their petty little peeves. I can't relate to social justice warriors. I can't relate to moaning about not having enough I don't know what these first world problems. Yeah, sorry, I was going off on it.
Yeah, well, no, it's just it's very interesting for me because I've got a real battle going on. Should I go off Facebook? Should I go off Twitter? Should I go off this? And then I'm thinking, well, what will I do to occupy my days?
Something that will make you a lot more happier. Because let me tell you, Facebook, I have discovered a couple of things about Facebook, and for all the old talkies out there that are like us on Facebook and think everyone reads everything that we like put down. You posting stuff, and I guarantee you there are like 3 people who... And you think you're making this impact on the world, and it's just you're not.
So why do people?
So why are you doing it?
Why do people post on Facebook?
Because you need to take up time. Take up time. We're bored. We're a bored species. We don't have to fight all those saber-toothed tigers. Now we just have to occupy our time. But what better way to occupy our time than all this nonsense with Facebook and rules and regulations and words and God, it's like another eco bubble you can involve yourself in and have a whole freaking life in that eco bubble.
Well, the relationships you have with people on Facebook can be very, very strange indeed. They usually come in the form of long threads of arguments with somebody else who doesn't agree with you.
Or disillusionment. I mean, I look at other people's Facebook feeds and I feel terrible that my life is so fucking awful. I mean, here they are on cruises.
But you just said you had a wonderful life.
That's what I'm saying. I have a wonderful life because I don't freaking do the Facebook thing anymore. Like, seriously. I mean, I switch on Facebook. I have something important to say, which I feel is important. And if I feel it's fucking important, okay. So I stick it out there and I'm sitting there waiting for people to reply. Especially like my family, who I come to realise have probably got me on snooze because like I post so much like bullshit anyway. So I now get this impression that my family don't care about me because nobody's responding to my and I'm miserable all day. And in the meantime, they put me on snooze because I post so much bullshit. So I'm unhappy. I switch on the computer. The next thing I see on Facebook is some poor underprivileged child begging for money, or some mother that's a meth addict that is trying to save the child's life, and all that stuff. It's a terrible world, but do we have to have it shoved in our faces all the time?
Well, the thing is, we choose to have it shoved in our faces.
Exactly.
That we do have a choice. But it's like you say, if I go off Facebook, go off social media and everything like that, I'll feel like I'm kind of losing out, or I'll feel even worse than I do about being completely out of touch and growing old.
I'll feel like I've had millennials tell me, but you use Facebook wrong, and you use it. Of course I use it wrong. I'm old. It's like.
But there's no right and wrong way to use Facebook.
There's no right. Let's this is where the millennials get me. Let's rethink it then. Let's redesign it. Let's remake it. Let's make it into what it is. It doesn't have to be what it is. You can be original. You can do something out of the box. It's okay.
Look, I think I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I think a lot of people post on Facebook because they want to be heard. Because they want to be noticed.
They want to be validated.
I
wanted those likes, and that's why I said to you, when we do these videos, I don't even want to look at the subscribers, the likes, the dislikes, the nothing, because I'm addicted to those likes. I'm addicted to the attention. I'm addicted to, oh God, somebody's taking attention. They're taking time out of their day to be interested enough in my life to press that like button. How pathetic is that?
That's really pathetic.
I mean, that is really pathetic. That you're living for somebody else to push a like button.
Are you getting what you need? Do people get what they need when they post selfies and they get, you're looking great and all of these things? Are people getting that kind of affirmation from sometimes total strangers on a computer screen? Do people why do people need this kind of affirmation about themselves? And bearing in mind that 20 years ago, really,
we didn't need
it. So now, why has Facebook suddenly, in just 20 years, out of 14
Look, it's not only
billion,
Facebook. I mean, it's FaceTime. It's
it's all the other shit.
It's all of this other shit that goes on. But the thing is that we need to project to the world, or some people need to project to the world, I think, this perfect Kardashian lifestyle, or as close to it as they can get.
I wouldn't call that perfect.
No, I wouldn't either, yeah. Robots. Anyway, so I think that they portray that. So instead of being genuine and honest and saying this is happening in my life, and so instead of Facebook being a place where you can share things with people and be real and be honest, it's become a place to showcase your latest house or your car or your, people will be on Facebook. I have people on my Facebook that will do videos, but they'll be talking in the videos like this, because of the new watch.
Oh,
what
I
I'm
see.
saying?
They're showing off their watch to the camera.
hi, I see talk about this new health product that I'm on, and it's really fantastic.
There's advertising. Shit.
It's just advertising what I've got. How great my life is.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is, I know I'm talking a lot because of my capacity.
You go for it.
But the ironic thing is, I have family that live inland. They think that I have this wonderful lifestyle. They think I have this amazing, incredible, which I do, but they think that I live this amazing lifestyle on the beach every day with cocktails and whatever, because they're only used to Clarksville.
Right.
Sorry, Clarksville. They're only used to Clarksville. They see me take a picture on the beach. I mean, that's my back garden.
Yeah.
But the amount of
Clarksthorpe is sort of a bit of
a
not a terribly nice.
It's lovely. It's a lovely place if you're that kind of person.
If you're that kind of person.
Yeah.
But no idea what you mean by
So,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I think, look, social media actually, it has an effect on our very, very nature, on our intrinsic nature as people. I think,
It has an effect on your business. Your partner over there pointed out that maybe we shouldn't be talking about religion because that might influence my business and your business, because people might not like us talking about. I don't like to be censored like that. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, me and my partner Frida, we have a great way of, she tells me what she thinks. I kind of ignore it. No, that's not
She's
true.
not here at the moment, so we can say things like that. We're quite safe.
I always take it into consideration, but something else, okay, let's sidetrack a little bit. I kept my mouth shut for years and years about my understandings of the world, my beliefs about the world. And not only did I keep my mouth shut, I followed a religion that I didn't really believe or understand. We're not going to make this into being about religion, but I'm moved away from all of that now, and it's like it was an awakening for me to find out so many other different things. I can't remember where I started this. What was the start of my sentence, so I've completely forgotten where I'm going with this.
I just drifted. It's always more interesting when you do.
Fuck yeah. Well, anyway, look, all right. So look, I said something about social media affecting our very, very nature. So let's jump back to
Okay, so you guys on that end of the camera are either going to find this very endearing or very irritating.
It's
Either way, let us know in the comments. Okay, that way we can edit all our brain fogs out of the whole situation. But the point of the matter is we have brain fogs. It's a natural thing. It happens. Deal with it. Is how I feel. He does the editing. If he wants to cut it up, go for it. But
I don't even know what we've been talking about. What have we been talking about? Relationships.
We were talking about not getting into religion. Yeah,
not getting into religion.
But
okay,
not getting into religion.
Let's not get into it.
You were brought up in a religion.
Yeah. We'll talk about that some other time. Yeah, I mean, we did talk a little bit about control, and that, again, that's something that always freaks me out, knowing that I'm not in control of my life on so many levels. You know what I mean? Health-wise, I can do certain things, but there's no guarantee. We've all heard stories, not all, but I'm sure some of you have heard stories about this perfectly healthy young man in his 30s who suddenly just dropped dead of a heart attack. You know what I mean? So... Well,
there are no guarantees, there's no set script. That's why I keep saying I refuse to worry about so-called health issues I have now. I could probably get run over by a bus on my way home to Rome. Just spend my life like kind of, musing over how old I'm getting and how decrepit the body's becoming and like everything's breaking down and like, for God's sake.
But that kind of thinking is actually something that I'm trying to move away from, and something that I want to make these podcasts about a little bit every time.
Yeah.
That kind of thinking about being so attached to yourself. It's not just attachment to that you want to beautify your body with makeup or tattoos or anything like that, but it's you're so attached to yourself that you become so scared that a part of your body is going to go wrong, and you have this underlying fear the whole time, So,
well, look, it is a huge shock when you hit, say, 45 and everything starts to break down. It is, because up until that point, you pretty much you don't think about it. Then all of a sudden, that tire develops, and then it becomes harder to get rid of the tire, and then suddenly there's the aches and the pains, and then suddenly this realization, oh shit, it's happened, and it's happened before I expected it, but I'm freaking old. It's like shit. It's like, what have I missed out on? Like, that was my biggest thing.
I think we both, Sean and I, have very similar beliefs as to the composition, shall we say, of the universe, the role of consciousness, the role of the mind, and things like that. And I think, my personal journey is learning how to get away from the fear, the mind being in a mindset of fear the whole time. And this sounds so cliche, and we'll keep walking this spiritual path, whatever that may mean. But I still feel, to a certain extent, that I'm trapped. I've got myself into this mess of owning a house and owning cars and owning so many things. Now what the hell can I do about all this? I haven't got the courage. I could, I suppose, but I haven't got the courage to suddenly drop everything and go off to Tibet and learn more about the spiritual side of our nature. Because anything physical, anything material in this world, it's kind of troublesome in some way or another.
It's an anchor to...
I don't know.
I don't envy you, but I must say that I used to be in a place where I was envious of my school friends and colleagues who all by, 30 had the houses and the cars and the swimming pools and everything else, until I realized that occupied all of their time.
Yeah.
It occupied every single second of their existence, and then I realized I actually came out of it better than anyone else with their cars and their swimming pools and whatever, because I have freedom. I can just leave, pack a bag now, and go wherever I want to go. I don't have to sell a house. I don't have to sell a car. I don't. Now, to me, that is a luxury. To other people, that may be something terrible. That may be awful. It may be awful to be 52 and not have your own car and not have your own home. But if you think your home belongs to you in the first place, you're completely delusional.
Okay.
Well, if you think your car belongs to you, there's anything can happen: bankruptcy, accidents, mistakes in insurance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking. A lot of people have a lot of stuff, a lot of nice stuff, big fast cars and everything, maybe because they've got a low self-esteem or something like that, and they need to pick themselves up. But
some people just like nice stuff as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Some people like nice stuff. Yeah, not everyone can afford it though.
Yeah.
But I think having all of these things, and especially going back to all the this telephone is basically the gadget. All of these things keep us occupied, you know.
So we never have to think about ourselves.
That's right. Now, what I want to know is why does our nature tell us we need to be occupied? because when I think about the monk sitting on the hilltop in Tibet, he's occupied only with one thing, and that's doing meditation. Where I'm occupied with hundreds.
What
of
was his programming when he was a kid? He was going to become a monk, and he was going to sit in a thing, and he was going to do nothing. You're born into a society where you're not allowed that.
Yeah,
you're not allowed that privilege. You can, to some extent, limit yourself to the influence from outside, but not completely and not totally. Yeah.
I
don't
don't know.
You're going to become Buddha, living in a suburb.
No.
is what I'm saying.
I think I've kind of given up on that idea now. But what I was going to say was, why do we feel the need to be occupied with things? Why is it so difficult for us to empty our minds? You know what I mean? And get through feelings of fear and anxiety and jealousy.
That's why, but because we're too scared. I know so many people who won't meditate. They've tried it for 15 minutes, and after they said no, they can't. Because they can't handle the looking inward. Everyone is so programmed. Now, the Buddhist is not programmed to look outward. He's programmed to look inward. You were brought up, with this story that you need to work hard at school. You need to go to university. You need to get a degree. You need to then get a job. You need to make lots of money. You need to marry probably your religion, a Jewish woman. You need to... so you have all that programming that you need to fight, whereas a Buddhist monk has just had the programming of, that's where I'm just going to be.
I've got to continue to fight my programming. I don't know how I'm doing it. It's something to do with my... with learning how to use my mind. And I've spent, most of my adult life trying to find out what the mind is. And I love to see, new theories and new explanations. If anyone wants to comment on what they think the mind is, please do. I grew up, and I've heard a lot of other people say this, and maybe this is why we need to be occupied the whole time. A lot of people say they feel like they've got a hole inside. You know what I mean? You've heard that saying. What the hell does that mean? I've got a hole inside. What does it mean?
It means a program's not being fulfilled. One of those programs. So what do you do with that hole? So I mean, if you program the whole of your life to work really hard, and then you reach a stage in your life where you don't have to work really hard, or you don't work really hard, or you're retired, or whatever. There's that hole. But it's a huge hole. So what do we fill it with? YouTube.
But isn't it like it's an imaginary hole? It's just, maybe it's just the wrong way to word it.
It's an eco bubble.
To call it a hole. An eco bubble. What do you actually mean when you say eco bubble? Like your own little
reality. Your own little reality.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of people going around feeling insecure, and understandably so, especially here. I say especially here in South Africa, but in South Africa, there's a lot of nonsense going on at the moment. But in every country in the world, there's a lot of nonsense going on. You'd be no better off anywhere in the world.
No,
you'd be better off taking a trip to the moon.
Yeah.
So, where do we go from here?
Yeah, the world's in a state. It's fucked up. There is, as said once.
I must tell you.
It's in a process of evolution and change, and you or I as individuals are not going to make a dent in that evolutionary change. It's happening, it's going to happen. Our thoughts, what we put out, what anyone puts out on YouTube, things are changing in a big way consciousness-wise.
I think so, definitely.
And there's no stopping it, and this is part of it, I believe.
What,
the
phone?
Your phone, your laptop, it's part of the evolution.
Yeah. And I think, it's causing the brain to evolve at a faster and faster and faster rate as well.
Maybe we're evolving faster than our brains can evolve, which is why we've evolved computer brains. you know.
So evolved computer brains.
Yeah, we hold them in our right hand every day. We take them wherever we go. We can't live without them. They're a source of information. They are an instant source of knowledge.
Yeah.
It is. What is it? What if that's not an extra part to your brain? What is it?
No, I hear you. Yeah, quite right.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand that. I think we're going to finish up in a moment, but I want to tell you about something. I did a survey across social media recently, and the question was, according to the impact of humanity on this planet, I think, or words to that effect, what state do you think the world is in today? And I got 2,100 and something responses, and you had 4 options. The first option was bad, the first option was not bad, the second option was not bad, the third option was okay, and the fourth option was good. And it turned out something like 80% of the people went for the first option, bad.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious.
We live in a time where less people are dying. We're living in more luxury. There's more food. There's
it's only 2,000 people, but 80% thought the world was in a bad state. And yeah, I mean, it is. I was going to say something else, but
what was the state?
There were even people who said to me, "Why don't you have 2 more options? Terrible and disastrous." And things like this.
But they're reflecting their lives, you know. I think they're reflecting their experience there. But I mean, in terms of the way we live today, in general, this is the best time in history.
Quite possibly, yes. But still, a lot of things that need to be fixed in this world, and I'm not the one to fix them. I can only fix myself.
We can only comment on it.
Yeah.
So,
we say goodbye to our lovely listeners and watchers.
Lovely. We got to get a nickname for you guys. I see all these young YouTubers have nicknames for their followers.
Do they?
I'm trying to think of one now. For God's sake, one.
We'll have one by the next time.
Yeah. Philosophies, philosophizers, philosophers. All our philosophers out there. Cheers. Have a great day. Enjoy life.
Okay.
Ciao. Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, and you all have a lovely day.